Transformation Show with me, your host, Sophia. And today, my guest is Dominika Asare. Hope I said her name right again.
Yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Founder of Dominion Fitness, who works with female executives 40 plus to improve metabolism, hormones, and manage what happens in peri and post menopause. So, welcome back. So,
Yes.
Fang, guys don't know, I did a show with her previously, and then I invited her back because there's some things that we didn't get a chance to touch on that I want to touch on today. So, most of our conversation is going to center around, maybe you were never in the best possible shape and then you started losing weight after 50 or in somewhere in your 40s or after menopause. And now you've noticed it's like, wow, I've lost all this weight and I thought everything was going to be amazing. And now I've got all this amazing saggy skin. What do I do with it?
Absolutely. Yes. And by the way, just to mention, this is a struggle with so many women. This is something that I see most of the time with my clients, because we often work with women who lose a lot of weight, likes of 30, 40, 50 pounds. And that skin really changes after.
So, well, tell us what we can do because it's like, wow, I have this amazing problem. I have to go buy new clothes because I lost all this weight. And then they're like, but my skin didn't get the memo.
Yeah. Would be. Yeah, and I think it'll be useful to start with why skin changes or why skin elasticity changes after 40. So maybe we can start there and kind of to see how hormones obviously do impact that, if that's okay with you.
Yeah, that works. That works well.
So yeah, so for the viewers as well, estrogen, which is the female hormone, it's not just a reproductive hormone, but we should also note that it's this major driver of your skin structure. So we have estrogen on something that's called fibroblasts, and these are those like cells that they produce your collagen and elastin. And collagen and elastin, I want you guys to like remember this because these are the main two, gosh, factors that are behind changes in your skin elasticity, right? So remember collagen and elastin. So we've got that estrogen, the hormone, that as we go into peri and postmenopause, that hormone declines. Yeah, I should also mention estrogen is responsible for skin hydration. It supports blood flow and all that good stuff. So now we've got this estrogen that's responsible for skin hydration, elastin, collagen. And then now suddenly we hit 40s, maybe 50s, perimenopause starts. And because we've got less estrogen, also those tissues, your collagen, your elastin, their production is going to drop because we don't have as much estrogen and it's going to continue to drop. So some stats, and I think this is it's going to show you the level of issue here. So research shows that 30%, 30 bloody percent of dermal collagen is lost in the first 5 years after menopause.
Wow.
It's bananas, right? Like 30%, that's one third of your collagen. And then, as if that wasn't bad enough, then we lose about 2% of collagen per year for the next 15 years. So you can really see how major impact menopause has on your skin, on the collagen production,
Right.
right? So that's collagen. That's just part of the story. But
I don't know. It's not. It's already sounding like a nightmare. It doesn't sound like a story. But let's go.
yeah, let's go. So I mentioned collagen. I told you about it. Now, what about elastin? So elastin is that second really important tissue or protein in our body. Its fibers, they undergo changes. Those changes, that happen also post-menopause, they will speed up your skin laxity. So, the wrinkle formation, sagging, and that is separate from collagen loss. So it's almost like a double whammy.
Right?
Yeah. So something that's quite interesting is that by the rate of or by the state of your skin, you can tell that person has entered perimenopause or postmenopause. Yeah. So that you can track even estrogen deficiency by the state of someone's skin.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's just hopefully something that's can explain to your listeners why there's such a massive difference between how your skin looks when you're in your 20s and 30s, when you go through those, bouts of weight loss, versus when you do it in your 40s and 50s.
So it just sounds like you're doomed either way. So, all right. So we know the biology,
Yes.
and please don't walk around judging women. It's like, okay, you've got a few wrinkles now. I'm sure you're in menopause. Stop it. Because I'm sure it does. I mean, when you have major weight loss,
Yes.
your skin doesn't, again, I think your skin doesn't always get the memo, even if you're under 40. But it just goes on vacation and stops reading memos
Yes.
during perimenopause and once you hit postmenopause.
Yes. Absolutely.
So,
Yes.
is there anything? So now we know why,
Yes.
and we know the mechanism. Is there a way then I to start tightening the skin? Or I mean, because everybody cannot go on hormone replacement. Because if everybody could go on hormone replacement, probably a good majority of people would, because it would be helpful and you'd have more estrogen, and then your skin would be like, oh look, she's
Absolutely. You wouldn't,
estrogen.
collagen, yes, and that would slow down the decline of the collagen and elastin. Yes, absolutely. So maybe a little bit of hope here because we started another.
I know, we already started in the nightmare. It can only go up from here, right?
Yes, so I should also mention that it's not that every woman who loses weight after 40 is going to have, that massive problem with sagging skin, because that depends on few factors. So number one, and that should be mentioned, is duration. So for example, if you have been carrying the extra weight for a long, long, long time, that problem is going to be more pronounced because the fibers will be stretched and they would reorganize around your body, the extra weight, let's say.
Mm.
Yeah. But what does it mean? It means that if you're, even if you're over 40 and you had situation where you put on a bit of weight but then you lost it, so it wasn't for a prolonged period of time, the impact is not going to be as substantial, let's say, versus someone who's been carrying extra weight for years and years.
Right,
Yeah. So I think we should start there. That it's not everyone that's going to have the same level of the issue.
right. And of
Yeah.
course, everybody's body is different. So, I mean, this isn't a blanket statement for everybody. This is just general information. So, if you're going through it, then we're talking here. If you're not
Yes.
going through it, just listen for a friend.
Yes. And also to because I know I kind of went on a bit of a tangent there, but the first thing that we can do when we are on this weight loss journey to prevent the, skin sagging, or to, again, I want to manage expectations because I don't think it's, at least based on my experience, I don't think it's possible, especially if you carry quite a bit of extra weight, to fully prevent the skin sagging,
Mhm.
right? So let's start there. However, we can um, minimize it. We can reduce that impact, that skin sagging, by a few things. So number one is gonna be speed of your weight loss, right? So Right now, I know there are many medications, for example, or many ways to lose weight quickly. You've got your, crazy diets, detoxes, all that stuff. You've got your, again, weight loss medications. And oftentimes, what we see with people who use those is that the speed of weight loss is very, very rapid.
Mhm.
Now, the rapid weight loss doesn't give your skin enough time to adjust, right? So it's like you said with not getting the memo. The faster you do it, your elastin and collagen won't get that memo because they're like, Jesus Christ, we're suddenly, 50 pounds lighter. We didn't have time to reorganize.
Right.
Yeah. So, okay, so what does it mean? It means that the gradual, slower, steadier weight loss tends to produce less visible skin laxity.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's start there. Also, in terms of how we lose weight, there are many ways to do it. We can do it through, again, medications, through just dieting, but we can also do it in a more sustainable way, I would say. And that's how I coach my clients. So we do it through reducing calories, improving their diets. And for some of them, it's not just reducing the calories. For some of them, the calories might stay the same, but we add the physical activity. But the bottom line is we've got both. So we've got the better nutrition and we've got physical activity. Now, let's talk about physical activity. Because if you go through your weight loss journey and you are active and you do your resistance training, you can reduce the level of skin laxity. So there's been actually studies that shown studies done in sedentary middle-aged women, and they were comparing women doing cardio versus women doing strength training for a period of time. And then they were analyzing the skin, let's say, state after. And the studies shown that for women who are doing strength training, not only they lost weight, but most importantly, the skin thickness was actually improved versus those who were doing just cardio.
Mhm. So
So that
basically, if you're not lifting weights or you're not doing resistance training or doing body weight exercises, you have more of a chance of having saggy skin.
absolutely, especially if you're losing weight quickly.
Okay.
And it kind of makes sense, right? Because, if we're just losing weight, so, your fat tissues or tissues cells are shrinking, right? But then we don't have anything to replace that volume. And I'm talking about muscle here. It
Mhm.
does make sense that your skin will be will be sagging more.
Right, right.
Yeah. So
So
we've
we
got
don't want to gain weight so that we plump to that. If we're okay, if you're already in at the point where you're seeing it,
yes.
then and it's not great, then you can if you start resistance training, will that help?
Absolutely. So again, let's manage expectations because especially with the elastin, elastin and collagen, two different things. Collagen is like a t-shirt that you need to replace every so often. Elastin is like this fantastic bra that you bought years ago and it was never meant to be replaced. Okay? So but why is it important? It's just important to understand that again, there is only so much we can do in general, yeah, with the skin elasticity. But yes, okay, so you've already lost a little bit of weight, the skin is sagging. Doing strength training will help because again, we've lost that volume. Building muscle will help almost like fill up that volume. Yeah. And again, it's been shown in the studies that it does improve skin thickness. So not just building muscle, but skin itself as well.
Okay, so is there a way to start replenishing your collagen? Because I've been seeing all these different things. It's like take this collagen supplement, put this
Yeah.
collagen supplement in your coffee. Uh, and then I've been hearing recently it's like stop taking collagen because it's not really doing anything for you. Take amino acids because amino acids are the building blocks of collagen. So there's like so much conflicting information out there. What is your take on it? Because I mean, we all have to do our own research and make our own decisions. But what is your take on it?
Yeah. So I've been looking, actually preparing for the conversation with you. I was looking at some of the studies on collagen supplements because that's a question that I get so often from my clients. Should I be taking collagen? Does it actually work? And so if we look at the studies, there are studies that show improvements in skin collagen um, after taking the supplements.
Mhm.
However, there's also, the massive analysis or meta-analysis, we call them. So it's like a big study that takes into consideration all the different studies, which have shown no improvement, no effect whatsoever on skin elasticity. So what I would say is, because we don't know of any side effects of collagen, taking it is not going to make things worse, right? So if you like taking collagen, if you can afford it, because it's not cheap, keep taking it. But with the caveat of, we actually don't know whether it's working or not.
So, well, I have a theory that it also has to do with your own personal DNA because
Mhm.
again, everybody's body's not the same, everybody's DNA is not the same. So, I think for some people, they can take whatever they take because somebody was saying, "Oh yeah, I take these specific peptides and my skin is back to normal and I look amazing." Somebody else is like, "I took these amino acids and they're the building blocks of collagen and now my skin looks amazing." So I think for different people, it's also has to do with your own personal DNA. Not necessarily, oh, I inherited this from my mom or I inherited this from my dad, but your DNA works specifically for you. Just like how we all have our own fingerprints, we all have our own DNA. So it's again, I think that the information out there can be really overwhelming. So
Yes.
you're just it, so in your opinion, and I have to say in your opinion because this is not recommendations, we're not doctors. It's just we're just talking.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Is it just really like a hit and miss and then just try different things and see what sticks and what works?
Mm. My approach is to cover all the bases, right? So, uh, doctors say first, do no harm. But we know so far that collagen doesn't do any harm. So if there is a chance that it will help you and it will work, why not? Yeah. However, something that's worth mentioning here, I think, because you've got women who are very much on it. They are the ones, they often take collagen, but they also do their weight training, they take care of their hydration, they take vitamin C, they take antioxidants and all that stuff. And oftentimes you have these women telling you, oh my goodness, my skin looks amazing after this collagen supplement. But it might be, and often is, that she's also doing all those other things. Because
Yeah.
something that we can talk about is your the state of your skin, the laxity and sagging and all that stuff. That's gonna also be impacted by your environment, things that you have done, things that your nutrition, gosh, UV exposure, so many things, whether you're smoking, drinking. So it's not that it's just, taking collagen and that's it, right? Or, just estrogen. There are many other things impacting your skin elasticity.
Well, I think our skin is our largest organ. So depending also what are we putting inside of us? What are we putting on us?
It's yep, yep, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
How toxic is your environment? Because I know where I live now, the water is a lot harsher
Mm,
than the water where I was before. So I find now that my skin is drier
higher. Yeah.
because the water is, I guess, I don't know. I don't know much. I just know how my skin's looking, but I feel like the water's more mineral rich, so it's like sucking hydration out of my body.
Yep.
And so no matter how much I drink, and then I don't want to, because I mean, you can water poison yourself if you drink too much. But no matter how much I drink, it's like I can't keep up. No matter how much lotion I put on, I can't keep up because obviously I'm going to keep showering. And then if I keep showering with the same hard water, I'm going to have the same effect. Yeah. Environment, I think, does play a pretty big role too. And there's only so much you can do because somebody's like, well, get a water filter. And it's like, yeah, I have a water filter, but I don't have one of those shower heads that's easy to come off so I can put on the water filter. So now that's a whole other thing. Now I gotta, I gotta go get some things so I can unscrew it and put the water filter on and all the things.
And also let's remember, like I think what people or us as women, we often forget that too. Having healthy skin and having a physique that we're happy with, all that, like there's so much there's so much more that we need to do. We're also mothers, wives, we have full-time jobs. Like it's, putting the filters and changing what you got to say, the shower heads. It it all requires efforts, and some of those things as well, some of those supplements, they're expensive. So it's just to say that not all women will have access to those things,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
But yes, definitely the environment does play a role. It's like in terms of the evidence from clinical studies, it's been shown that oxidative stress, which is very kind of general thing, but we all on a daily basis are exposed to it, is something that does play a role as well. So perhaps on that note, we could talk about some of the things that we can put on our skin to improve state of it, or to try to, reduce or prevent that skin laxity getting worse.
Okay, let's do that.
Yeah. So number one, and that's probably something that your listeners already know, it or are retinoids. So this is kind of the gold standard in terms of the skin elasticity, collagen, because retinoids is the active ingredient that actually boosts cell turnover. So your body creating new cells,
Mm,
and therefore your body can create new collagen cells.
okay.
Yeah.
So if we use a product with retinol in it, then that could help. But here's a question that you may not have the answer to.
Tell me.
How much retinol do you need? Because you take a supplement and you look at the supplement and it's like, well, this has 1,200 grams, this has 1,800 grams, this has 2,400 grams. And then you go read the study and it's like, for it to actually be effective, you need 3,200. And I'm just making up numbers. So, you know, how do you know how much is actually effective? Or and that's why I said it might be a question that you can't answer. Maybe we got to go Google it and do some research, people. But I mean, it's important to know that if you're going to start doing something, how much of it is actually, how much do we need for it to be effective?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I won't be able to give you one dose. And even in the studies that I've seen, that dose differs. But what I would say as a safe bet is, whenever you're using a product, I would just follow the dose that's given on the packaging, because different products will have different, let's say, strength or concentration of retinol. Um, and that's gonna directly I suppose, determine how much of it you should be taking, you should be using.
Yeah, because I know I've fallen down the rabbit hole because I do that. When I start
We all do.
researching when I start researching something that I find interesting,
Yep.
I mean, for me, that's almost as bad as, scrolling on Instagram or TikTok. I get lost. Um,
But
but that's one of the things that I found is, like, in certain studies, they use X amount of the ingredient, and that's what they find effective, and then when you go, over the counter, you're not getting you're not
yes.
getting something with that same strength.
Yes.
So and then you don't wanna overdo it because, like you said, the way they put their compounds together, if you take more than the recommended dosage, you could be putting yourself in danger. So, again, I think everybody just has to do their research, go talk to their physician, and hope you have a physician who's progressive, who actually knows things and no, well, yeah, okay, I was gonna say no shade to doctors. Yeah, there's a little bit of shade because because there's so much that they do have to learn that there's
Yes.
a lot that they're not taught. And I think even in schools today, what doctors are learning is still the same stuff they were learning 100 years ago. And even though technology and products and everything have evolved, I don't think that everybody is on the learning track for where we are today in 2026 versus what they were learning from 1805.
Yeah, absolutely. And also, it's worth mentioning that women's health as well is progressing, thank God, very quickly right now, right?
Mm,
Because as a kind of gold standard before in the past, most of the clinical trials were done in healthy males,
yeah,
healthy young males.
healthy
So,
young white males at that. So
yeah, there we
don't
go, right?
don't be an older woman of color and then think that everything that was done on a young white male is going to work for you.
The same way, absolutely, right? So, I'm not, defending doctors because I definitely believe that, the well, health systems just globally need improving. But I think it's also the case that this field is very, very quickly evolving because now, and thank God, again, more and more often, we do see women being included in clinical trials. Um, so that's something I think this is a space to watch because I think in the next few years we're going to have more and more of studies with women, more and more studies, even researching these issues because probably 20 years ago no one was even researching skin laxity, skin sagging or skin state in the yeah in women.
No, I definitely think so. And I think plus with AI, I the way the pace at which AI is evolving, I think we're going to be able to get a lot of our answers from
Absolutely.
AI. Um, because even now they have AI doing certain surgeries. So if you keep feeding it all the information and teaching it, and then scarily enough, it starts growing on its own, and
Yeah.
and having, getting its own information, I think in time, a lot of what we're talking about today won't be the same issues. But perhaps what
Mm.
will remain the same is who has access. Because just like how when all medications came out, only a certain income bracket could
Yes.
afford medications. And even today, there are people who require certain medications and
And can't
they're
afford it
priced out,
yes.
so I think that part I really don't think is going to change, especially when you're looking at money, who's making the money, do they actually care about people or are they just in it for the money? Because I
Yeah.
feel like and I'm not gonna get political or anything here, this is just my own theory, that when you start to look at things, whether it's the pharmaceutical companies
Yep.
or the way insurance works or a whole lot of things, if you follow the money, then you understand the process because you wanna see who's getting rich.
Yeah.
Because I know that there and when I say I know, this is hands on heart, I know, not I have specific knowledge that
Mm.
there are cures for certain diseases that we are still paying into for research. But if people got cured, nobody'd make money.
Exactly.
So
Yes.
I think there are many companies that have a vested interest in keeping people ill.
Yeah, or in keeping them unaware of ways, things they can use to improve their condition.
Right, because if you can do it naturally and you don't need a pharmaceutical, oops, who just
There
got
I go.
me?
Yep. Yeah, 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 that's it. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah, 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 that's it. So, absolutely, that's it. And I think that's also something that's worth. I already mentioned in the, in the context of collagen. Gosh, like like everywhere, just everywhere you go, you've got so many. I think collagen right now is the buzzword on social media. So it's just every single company has its own, collagen supplement. But again, no one. What I told you about right now with the exercise. I don't see that being, uh, covered anywhere. That's you should be doing your strength training. Yes, I think women are becoming more and more aware that strength training is important for muscle building, but the strength training and collagen, and skin, elasticity, that's not something that's covered anywhere.
Right. And so I know for me, I used to have a gym membership, but it had to be on the way to somewhere I was going or else I didn't go. So I know I'm not alone because I know so many people have gym memberships and they just keep paying and they're
Yep.
not actually going to the classes. And then there was COVID anyways. So I started working out at home and it was great because there were like certain people I used to follow on YouTube and it was amazing.
Hmm.
Then YouTube said, how can we make more money?
There you
Oh,
go.
let's throw a commercial in every 3 seconds. So, I mean, that kind of just took out the whole I'm going to do my routine online because
You can't.
it's middle of a workout and then there's a commercial and then there's
Absolutely.
another ad and then there's another ad. So it just, you know, to me, it just went awry. And then, I mean, there's subscriptions, but again, those get expensive. So I
Oh
think
yeah,
it's
and more.
really about finding the right person who can help you and knowing the right thing to do. And being able to either have somebody else hold you accountable while you're holding yourself accountable.
Yeah.
Because sometimes when you're doing stuff in isolation, it's not easy to hold
Yeah.
yourself accountable, right?
Yep.
Because unless you're like, yeah, I'm going to XYZ and I'm going to do this and this and that, it's not always easy. Or the times that you have available are not the times for the classes that you
Are
want to go to.
in your
Because
area.
this
Absolutely.
past weekend, they had a bunch of classes for free, and I was like, "I'm gonna go check them out," and I did. And then I did, like, 4 classes in a row, and then the next day, my legs were like, "Are you stupid?" 'Cause it's like, they hurt so bad.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
At the same time, it's like, you wanna know for me, I wanna know what can I have fun at, and what am I gonna enjoy, right? So, I was on a Bosu ball for the first time. That is a lot harder than it looks.
That's right.
A
Absolutely.
lot harder than it looks. It was fun. I had a good time doing
Yeah.
it, but it works it works with, and it's one of those things that work and you don't even realize it's working
Oh,
because
yeah.
you're trying to balance.
Until until the next day. Yeah, yeah, we can barely move. Absolutely.
And that's when my legs were really talking to me. They weren't saying those things, but it was fun in the moment, and but it's interesting because you don't really realize what exercises that you can do that
Yes.
actually are weight-bearing exercises, not necessarily cardio, because when you're trying to stay stable,
Yeah.
you have all these different muscles working.
That shouldn't even know where they exist.
Exactly, until they start to hurt.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes,
But
yes,
yeah,
yes.
so I think it's really about finding something that works for you
Yeah.
or works with you. And
Yes.
yeah, and sometimes it's just not easy to find, again, like the right timing.
Yeah.
Everybody who's teaching, they have a life, right? So they're going to teach in a time that it's good for them or good for the organization that they're teaching in. But I think it's really upon us now to that we were having the information, we're having the discussions, and then say you have to find a program that works for you.
Yes. So on that, I suppose one thing that is worth mentioning is because with the everything that we talked about, with the elastin and collagen, because some of those things, some of those changes that happen with the weight gain are irreversible, right? So you can never bring your skin to the state it was before that weight gain, especially if you've been carrying that weight for quite a while.
Mhm.
So I would say, you know, uh, after because we spoke a little bit about what you can do, what supplements you can take, what you can put on your skin. The best way to avoid sagging skin is not getting to a point where you're carrying too much extra weight for too long. And that brings me to your point, which is if you're already seeing that the weight is increasing, don't wait and don't kick the can down the road because, yeah, okay, weight loss, that's something that's simple relatively, just caloric deficit. But the skin sagging, like, again, this is something that you can't reverse. So rather than waiting, if you already see that the weight is increasing, get on it, do something about it. Find a coach, find a program, find something that works for you. Don't let it go on for too long because it's only going to get worse and it's only going to get more difficult to then reverse.
Right. And so, and one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation is to see what we can do naturally. And clearly, there's not a ton we can do naturally. So, I mean, I may have to find somebody who can talk about some of the other ways that we can deal with this. Because again, though, that I'm talking in terms of, you know, laser treatment or surgeries or things like that, which can get expensive. Number one,
Yes.
if insurance doesn't pay for it unless it's medically necessary. And
Yeah.
I think most insurances aren't going to look at it as medically necessary.
Well, yeah, yeah. I was gonna say before we go in there, I should say that there are few more things that you can do because we still didn't mention a few other things that you can put on your skin that are, I suppose, relatively natural, and then also how you can change your nutrition to prevent those changes. So we can quickly go through those just for your listeners to know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Let's do that.
So we covered already retinoids, so your retinol that you can put on your skin. We didn't mention vitamin C. So there's been some studies that's shown that the collagen synthesis, so creation of new tissue of new collagen, is improved if you are using topical vitamin C.
Ooh, okay.
So again, that's something that's relatively, you know, affordable, and your listeners can, absolutely just go and buy it in a over the counter pharmacy. Now, also peptides is something that people have been using topically. And again, that's the same, let's say, mechanisms. So that signals your body to produce new cells, specifically collagen.
And what
And
exactly are peptides?
yes, so that's a question I often get from my clients. Peptides are, so let's think about this way. We've got proteins, which are big um, particles, I suppose. Now, proteins are made up of amino acids, and probably that people know what are amino acids. But peptides are short amino acid chains. So you've got protein that are long chains of amino acids, and you've got peptides that are shorter chains of amino acids. Amino acids are building blocks of protein.
Okay.
Makes sense. But again, peptides have been more and more popular recently, or becoming more and more popular. I don't have enough probably backgrounds on peptides to be talking more about them, but I know from the research that I've done for episode that it's something that is being currently used by some women to help
And is
this.
that a topical thing or is that an ingestible thing or both?
You can get them in either version. However, specifically for improving skin, it will be in the topical version. I'm not sure if I would imagine it could also work if you're taking it as an ingestible. But yeah, I know that definitely as a topical way, that's something that can be used. Now, on the practical note, we've got vitamin C, we've got peptides, and we've got also retinol. So to make things more interesting, you'd use those differently, slightly, because vitamin C is something that you would use with your SPF in the morning. Then you've got your retinoids that you would use at night, and then peptides. It's more, let's say, flexible, but
Mm.
just kind of in terms of logistics.
And then do
So
you
that's
do
cool.
retinol at night just because you probably shouldn't be out in the sun
So
when you do it?
absolutely. Whereas vitamin C, because it's antioxidant and UV light is one of the factors that leads to oxidative stress, it's something that we would take or put on our skin in the morning.
Okay.
And then on the nutrition front, that's the last thing I think I would cover is number one for your skin is going to be protein. Surprise, surprise. But more specifically, studies have shown that there are three amino acids that have been connected to better collagen production. And these are glycine, proline, and hydroxyproline. And these are amino acids that you can find specifically in eggs, poultry, bone broth, from what I remember, fish as well, and just lean protein in general. So again, protein is super, super important, not just for building muscle, but also for your skin.
And I know everything I've read, I don't know, in the last 3 months, it's like, eat your protein first. Like it's everything on my plate. I like the perfect bite, but all these things now are telling me to eat my protein first. And then, and
Hmm.
then, well, I guess almost now it's like, well, just finding out that your salads, your bag sauces are not healthy.
I know, I know.
Like what salads aren't healthy? Your fruit has now a poop related bacteria on it.
Yeah.
And it's like, so what do I eat?
What to eat? Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. But again, it just depends on the sourcing and everything else. I think it's important to include those vegetables and protein, the most important thing. I don't necessarily agree with the order. So the way I think the reason why oftentimes it's said eat your protein before you eat everything else or anything else is because, if people have tendency to not to finish their meals, protein structurally is going to be the most important, let's say, ingredient in your meal from the muscle building perspective, skin, all that stuff.
Ooh.
But to me, you should just use portions on your plate that you know you're going to eat. And this way you get to eat everything at the same time rather than worrying about eating protein first and then, waiting. until you can eat your pasta, your rice. Yeah,
Yeah, and again, that's why, I'm trying to bring on different types of people who have different points of view
yeah,
because there's so much information out there that,
absolutely.
if you can have somebody at least trying to explain it to you, like you
Yeah,
three, that's no, then you have a better to me. You have a
yeah,
better chance of making an informed decision. Because
absolutely.
again, there's like so many
Yeah,
things out there because I was especially like on my feed, I see get different ads. So I was getting the ads all the time for these pants,
mm,
these leggings, these honeycomb leggings that if you wear the leggings and your legs are gonna just magically like, the cellulite's gonna be gone, the sagginess is gonna be gone because of these leggings. Now,
mm,
could it be true? Maybe, but when I went to research it is like, yeah, there's no effect. And with all the AI out there, I don't know what's real. I don't
yeah,
know if somebody created an AI agent to, simulate a real person who's gonna show you. It's like, "Oh, I wore these for, like, 3 months, and now look at me." I don't know if it's real. So, I think that's the other thing that we're up against, is not knowing what's real, and then having all the conflicting information.
yeah. Unfortunately, that is the case now. And with AI being more and more developed, it's going to be only more difficult to say what is true or what is real and what is AI generated.
Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And yeah, it just sucks. I mean, now I'm not, and don't get me wrong, I'm not like 100% opposed to AI because I'm not. What I am opposed to is fraud and deceptive marketing. So yeah, use AI all you want. I don't care. Use an AI twin because I'll probably have one eventually. But don't be deceptive and don't
To
commit fraud just to sell a product to
and to
somebody
make more.
who, yeah, somebody who's in need, right? Because
Yes,
somebody's buying your product for fun. They're buying it because they feel like they need it. So if you know that your product doesn't work, don't do it. Don't create things that don't work. Or just create, if you're going to create something, create it and say, hey, aren't these cute? Wear them and see how it works. But don't create a product and sell it for a certain issue.
yes,
You know, if you know that is not going to work.
absolutely.
And
Yeah,
then create fraudulent ads to entice desperate people.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah.
that's just not cool. That is not to me, and
It's not ethical. It's not ethical.
these are just my opinions, obviously. I just
Mm,
don't find that's morally correct. I don't
yes.
I mean, you can make money any many different ways,
Yeah.
but I'm a big proponent of making your money in a way that is morally correct. I guess in order for you to I guess it's and I guess moral is subjective.
Objective in itself.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because what I consider moral, somebody else might not. But yeah, just some of these things that they're straight fraud.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
like the leggings that you mentioned. Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, it is what it is, but I'm just throwing that out there that, you know.
Yes. But I think as fitness professionals, as people who have following and people, uh, who are trying to inspire people to, to do better with their health and everything else, I think we've got the moral obligation to just do our best work. And, like we are sharing information today, um, being honest about what people can expect, right? Managing
Yeah.
expectations. So I think that's something that's yeah, it's very important for me, I know, in my coaching. And I can see that you also you're also aligned with that.
Yeah, definitely. Because I want to see people and women especially. I mean, men, y'all got your thing. You've been doing your thing. Uh, for women, I want to see women live their best lives, right? I want to see women uplifted and fulfilled and feel, you know, good
In
about
control.
themselves and
Yes.
feel comfortable in their skin.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
So, having said all that, I want I want to be aligned with companies who feel the same way. I want to be
Yeah,
aligned with creators who feel the same way.
yeah,
Not just, here is a product, and I know that you wouldn't be buying it if you didn't feel like you needed it, but I don't even think it works.
yeah,
I'm not aligned with that.
absolutely. Yeah, and it's a good note to your listeners as well. Guys, be really, really strict with who you follow. Yeah, because I think right now the Instagram, I think it's few years back that it changed so that you see ads and people who you didn't choose to follow. But there is an option to only see on your feed people that you do follow. So, I think it's just important that people are quite disciplined in what they're exposing themselves to in terms of social media, in terms of the content.
Well, and yes, I agree with that. And it's also part of getting a spectrum, right? Because there are certain people who, if they didn't show up on my feed, I wouldn't know they exist,
That is true.
you
That
know?
is true.
And, but then you have to be discerning. It's like,
Yes.
listen to what they're saying. And I have a thing that's like, trust and verify. It's like, okay, they're saying the thing, let's verify if that is correct, how that works, all the things.
Yeah.
Or
And
if there are
yeah.
a lot of people saying similar things,
Yeah.
and, you know, if they're not just copying each other, then perhaps then the information is true. And then you take that information and you go look and see, hey, is this thing correct?
Yes, and I would say make the algorithm work for you. So exactly like it said, yeah, like you said, it's also important to be exposed to new, different content, but make sure that you're only liking or spending more time on the content that's actually serving you or that's actually looks like an informed content. Because I remember for me there was a time when all I saw on Instagram was just fitness models pretty much, right? Because I wasn't spending time um consciously liking content from people who are more, how to say it, acceptable, of or showing different body types and all that stuff.
Mm,
Right now I'm much more conscious of liking those type of accounts, and I can see that the algorithm is working better for me. So now I can see women doing strength training versus uh, women just being very, very slim and kind of promoting those unattainable beauty standards.
yeah, right now I have a lot of dogs on my like the reels
I
that
think that's still better than fitness models.
the reels that keep showing up are dogs. But but I love dogs. And
There we go. There you go.
some of them, I mean, they're cute. So, and I get that the algorithm is trying to give you what you want to see, but I think the algorithm also needs to do like how you can do shuffle on
Mm, yeah.
on Spotify or something like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You need to shuffle it. Don't just keep showing me the same thing. Just
Yeah.
because I like it doesn't mean I don't like something else.
Mm,
So there are people who I follow who I never see on my feed,
mm,
or people who have a lot of great information, but they don't have a big following. So
yeah.
you never see them. I'm one of those people, by the way, so follow me. Um,
I do. I already do. Very much so, yes.
so yes, please go to the show notes. Look at all the different places you can follow me and follow me
Yes.
so I can get a bigger following, but not just to have more people and more lights, but to have extended reach.
Yes.
Because that's one of the things. Like, I was on TikTok. And I do a lot of my travel stuff on TikTok, which I'm going left here. But I can't put links in because, I don't have 1,000 followers. I can't go live on Instagram because I don't have 1,000 followers. But how do you organically get 1,000 followers if nobody's seeing your stuff? So it's kind of a catch-22 that, yeah, sure, you want to put your stuff out there, but I'm not going to go stand on my head and do all the viral dances and stuff like that. That's just not who I am.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but it's it's a factor in how you get seen. So I don't know, maybe I need to start doing videos with a dog in it. And people like me will get those videos.
There you go. There you go. That's the answer.
But anyway, yes, I went far left from what we were talking about, but in a way, it's kind of all related because we're getting a lot of people are getting their information from social media, and all information on social media is not good information. Just say
Absolutely. Yeah.
so. Trust and verify whether it's what you're going to put on your body, what you're going to put in your body, how you're going to move your body. You
Yeah.
know, because now there are a couple people who I follow who do a lot of body weight stuff and just small movements that keep you moving throughout the day. But then I start to wonder, is like if 5, 10 people are doing the same thing, did they see somebody doing it and say, hey, I can do that video? Or are they really, this is my thing, this is what I do? Or was it, you know what I mean? Because there was this one guy I was following and he was, I think it's like a 7-minute thing where, you're jumping and you're swinging and you're doing all the stuff for lymphatic movement. And then again, I don't know if it's because of the algorithm, all of a sudden it got a bunch of other people doing that. And it's like, well, were you guys always doing that? Or
Or is it
catch
always
a
getting
viral video and now you're doing that. You know what I mean? Maybe I just analyze things too much and I overthink things. Not there's not a maybe in there. I do tend to analyze things too much and overthink a lot of stuff. So that's me. But if you're listening, you're probably a lot like me. So that being said, what trust and verify. And
absolutely.
when I go do your own research in that everything on the internet is not factual as well. But at least if you start somewhere, you're gonna get some general information that could lead you in the right direction. So
Ab-
again, like I love all the things that we talked about today, but it's not advice, really. I mean, the opinions on things that have worked for people. But as always, before you start putting anything on or doing anything, you need to go to your doctor and say, hey, I know I'm already on these medications. Are these things going to interrupt what I'm doing or enhance what I'm doing? So it's
Right.
really about trust and verify. That's all I can
Yeah.
say.
Informed decision. Informed decision.
So I really enjoyed our conversation today. And I like that you put expectations on it. It's like, look, if this is already going on, then you might be up shit creek. However,
There
here's the
could be
things you can
like
do to improve, or if you're not at that point yet, to prevent.
to prevent, and prevention is always better than management, if possible. Yeah, but it's never too late to start. So yes, thank you so much. I also really, really enjoyed our conversation.
Well, who knows? We might find something else to talk about, but I'm so
Always.
grateful to come back today. And yeah, until the next time, talk soon.